to the GoGreenfields podcast with me, River.
Me, Terran.
And today we are touring Chef Peter Froese's restaurant called Gander and Ryegrass. We're also going to interview him, so it's going to be really fun. Let's head inside. He's also going to show us how to make some pasta. Dun-dun-dun. Magic powers. Hello. Oh, there's another one.
Hello.
Thank you for being on our podcast today.
Of course. I think we're gonna get into some fun stuff.
Yeah.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. I thought we'd make some pasta today. Does that work okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
So there's lots of different ways to make pasta, and the fun thing about cooking to me is that there's always 100 different ways to make something.
Yeah.
So it's not about doing it the right way. There's not one right way, right? You can do it 100 different ways. So I'm just going to show you what we do. And the pasta that we make a standard dough. And then what we'll do is we can make any sort of shapes that we want to out of that.
Yeah.
So we can make some ravioli. We can do tagliatelle is one of our standards, or pappardelle or something like that. So, anyways, let's wander on down. I'll grab my apron too.
Okay.
Read a recipe, and you can do the thing that it says to do. And if it comes out bad, what do? You just eat it anyway.
Yeah.
Or you can say, "This doesn't seem right. Let's try and fix it."
Yeah.
And that's why you taste something before it goes out to the dining room.
Yeah.
And paying attention all the time. So, put your attention span onto full blast.
Okay.
That was a bad line, but here we go. Pay attention. Here's Chris. Chris is getting the bread ready for our sandwiches today. So we make everything. Cool. We'll send some home with you. We'll have everything ready to go by the time you guys are done here. You mix the big. Actually, it's a 2-day process.
Oh wow.
So we'll make. We have a bread starter that will make what's called a levain. Kind of continues the fermentation process, and then the next day you make your dough and you let that rise and put it in the refrigerator. And actually, the longer time in the refrigerator gives it a slightly more sour note to it. So on day 3, then we do what you're seeing there.
Oh, cool.
Portion it out, roll it up, put it in the oven, take off.
Great.
Remember how we talked about paying attention?
Yeah.
You can follow a recipe, and that's fine. But I think it's better to have a general understanding of what's going on, paying attention to what's happening. So we're doing about 2 parts dry ingredients to 1 part wet. Okay. So it's actually a little bit more wet than 1 part, but such as it is, you can get there pretty close.
Yeah.
All right. Do you wanna, Terran? Will you go down to that last refrigerator and grab me a flat of eggs? They're all about 50 grams.
Yeah.
So we need 500 grams. So we're gonna stop just shy of 50.
300.
400. So if it's 50 more grams in 1 egg,
We'll be pretty close.
we'll be pretty close. Okay. So we're gonna go. Yep. You know what I mean by a dry and a wet dough?
Yeah.
Yep. So we want more of a wet dough.
Okay.
If we start dry, it'll be more dense and tough.
Yeah.
And we want a delicate situation with those. So we're going to lean towards wet. And as we go about our business, we're going to start noticing how the flour interacts with the eggs.
Are there any doughs that you want dry?
Not really. You can always start wet and add flour in easily.
Yeah.
You can't add liquid in easily. Most of the time you get a hard dough and you kind of put water on top of it and it slips around and slides and separates and it's not easy to work with. What we do anyways is we'll, once the dough is rested and we're starting to roll it out, we flour it anyway. So you get flour on the outside, it works its way in. If you just start a little bit wet, you have no problems. So this is what I call the old grandma method. We do it every day. And we just slowly incorporate the flour into the egg. If you're gonna make something like gnocchi, this is for sure the best method because it just breaks everything up and gets everything kind of. So you don't really need a compacted dough for gnocchi. You just need it to be just tender. Let's get you pretty far down the road. All right, so we're getting there. And now, because I've done this so many times in this fashion, I know that our ratio of water to flour seems like we're in a pretty good spot. It might be a little bit dry, but at this point you can't really tell. If you grab it, it just gets slimy. So we're just going to move slowly into kneading. Feel that it's still a little bit on the wet side. There's not a lot of excess flour to be incorporated. So I'm just going to say that this is probably about right. We're going to check it in a little bit.
Okay.
So is this podcast part of your schooling?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I would say this is right where we want it. And just like paying attention or even maybe talking to your food, we're just going to spend our time, and it takes time.
Yes. I like kneading bread.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you? I like kneading bread dough better than pasta.
So, when we started the restaurant, I hadn't made a lot of pasta, and I didn't expect to be making so much pasta.
Yeah.
And I had spent some time in a place that was making lots of pasta. I just never made it myself. I was a butcher there.
Yeah.
So we always had the sense of we need the pasta for 10 minutes. And somewhere right around 6 minutes, it seems like it's about right.
Yeah.
But it's just a trick.
Mm-hmm.
You need to go a full 10 minutes. All right, who's up next? Who said they like kneading dough?
He needs to knead.
Get your shoulder in there. There you go. So you guys, I take it, have made pasta before?
Yeah.
What kind of pasta was it?
Our mom and dad like us to make, or our dad likes us to make the dinners on their anniversary.
Oh, nice.
Last one we made was ravioli.
Cool.
It was a little hard, but there was too. I feel like there was too much pasta and not enough. I usually make risotto, not pasta.
How'd you roll it out?
With the roller pin.
Oh, did you do the roll? Probably a bigger one than that.
Who taught you how to make pasta?
Terran did. Mom did. Oh, you did.
Excuse me.
No, Mom did. Mom did it the first time.
Right here.
Mom did it the first time. But
I taught you gnocchi.
yeah, no, which is good. It's good. What is Biggie Smalls?
That's our sourdough mother.
Oh.
So you feed it water and flour, and there's a yeast that grows in there, and it eats the flour. And
I like the name.
yeah, we're just gonna wrap this up with a little bit of plastic. You could very well put this in a Tupperware. It's not gonna grow like dough would. So you can put it in a Tupperware. And since we're gonna come back to it pretty quickly, we're just gonna leave it there.
Okay.
And if you're not gonna use it for a couple hours, throw it in the fridge. All right. Now the fun part. We get to clean up. So you know where those go. You can put those back.
This episode was brought to you by Thrive Market and these other wonderful sponsors. Are you looking for a drink that tastes good that your parents would approve of? Good news! Farmer's Juice is the perfect choice. It's organic, full of healthy ingredients, and definitely parent approved. The best part, though, is that it tastes even better than sugary drinks. Give it a try at GoGreenfields.com/farmersjuice. And if your parents use coupon code GoGreenfields, they can get $8 off their first box. Life is so exciting! There's always so much to do every day. We're always learning, playing, practicing, or cooking. So sometimes it's a little hard to shut it off at night. Fortunately, there's a healthy way to sleep easier. Doc Parsley's Sleep Remedy Kids. It's made just for us kids, and it works. Want to try it yourself? Go to GoGreenfields.com/sleep. Don't forget the coupon code, River. Oh yeah, the coupon code is GoGreenfields, and then you can save 10%.
First thing you do, touch it. Yep. So what you need to notice is that number one, it's not dry. It has some tacky, but not sticky, right?
Yeah.
So I think we're in a pretty good spot. I'm just gonna cut off.
I love cutting pasta.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but it's really fun.
it is. So you guys have a roller at home?
Yeah.
Kind of like this.
It's not the one that attaches to the mixer, but we need 3
Okay.
more.
Oh, do you have a little hand crank?
Yeah.
It's all the same thing. One of you guys can crank and the other one can do the pasta. It's pretty much the same exact
Is this
process.
the crank?
No, this is that's the crank. So if you have one that has a little thing on it, rock, paper, scissors for whoever has to crank it. No, I'm just not right now. I'm just saying at home. So here's the deal. It can be a little tricky. And there's no reason that you have to go all the way all at once. So we're just going to take a very small amount. I would take this and probably a little bit of this, and I know that I can do sheets of pasta that are like this.
Wow.
There's some reasons that you don't need to do that. But for now, especially when you're learning, there's no reason. You know, let's learn to walk before we run. So I'm just going to take a very small amount. You feel already it's starting to get dry, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to add any flour at this point. Roller's all the way open. Okay. 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 We're just folding it over. It's just gonna. We'll feel it again.
That's nicer.
Little more sticky. So we'll do it a little bit. Keep in mind, if it's sticking to your fingers, it's going to stick to that.
Yeah.
No bueno. Okay. You can see it's starting to look more like pasta should.
Yep.
No problem. And I like to keep things nice and even, so I'm going to try to do this and make sure that it rolls out in a nice even sheet. Close enough, we'll probably take off the end. I'm just going to start stretching it now. Okay, see that ridge there?
Yeah.
Feel it. Sticky.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get ribbons like that if it's sticky. So the solution is
Flour.
add a little flour.
That's pretty long.
So, yep. So we'll take each one. This one's already dusted with semolina.
Oh.
It's a larger grain,
Yeah.
so it's going to hold the pasta off of the sheet tray. So that it dries evenly, we're going to put a towel over it. That's just going to go up there. So, on a normal day, I'll fill this rack all the way up.
Wow.
And then I'll make the tortelloni and the stuffed pastas and all that. So, alright, I figure for our reasons, you should probably do it. And who's starting?
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Here. first.
Alright, you're first. So first move, and move it all the way over. And then I had it on high speed. You don't have to have it on high speed. Yep, that's great. You're gonna pull it over. How does it feel? Is it sticky? Is it dry?
It's good to me.
Okay. And I actually go this way. If you do it this way, it's gonna kind of pull it like that a little bit. But if you get this, it's aiming right in between. There you go.
Yeah, Terran.
Plus, it also does that, which is kind of fun.
Pull it this way now?
You can pull it whichever way you want. We're really looking to build some more texture on it, and then also to kind of change the shape. So the more you do it, the more you can get this size of pasta all the way down for about 6 feet.
Wow.
We're not worried about that today at all. So, is it getting sticky?
Yeah, I think so. What should I do with this? There? And this one?
Yep. Thank you.
Is it working?
So one little trick is now it's more.
What happened? It dropped. Where'd it go? The
Alright,
trash.
so number one is you move it all the way back open. This is part of paying attention, right?
Yeah.
Are you using the right tool in the right way?
Not if it's on it.
Yep. It would not go well. That happens sometimes. You smash it down so it's because you're taking something that's this big and you're going this big. So we can kind of make it a little bit less. Facing it.
No, don't do that. Okay.
It's okay? Yep, don't worry about it. It's fun. We got lots of time.
It's like air bubbles.
Okay, what's it feel like? Yep, so let's, actually we have all this flour on the board. Roll around.
Yeah.
So we'll just do. Well, actually, I'll show you two different shapes right now with just one. So the Italian word for this would be mezzaluna. Any idea what that means?
No.
Mezza means half.
Oh.
Luna
Half moon?
means the moon. Yep, so half moon. And we need this to stick somehow, right? Feel that?
We use egg
Feel
whites.
it? Feel it?
We use egg whites.
You can do that, or you can use its own stickiness against it.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Give a little water spritz. Fold up, just like you're making a taco. You really don't want the filling on the seal, but if it gets there, again, pay attention. Oh, it's there, so we need to make sure we press it really well. And the most important thing is that there's no air in it. Because what happens to air when it gets hot?
It explodes.
Well, it expands, which is in turn going to make our pasta explode. So, that one's called mezzaluna.
I like that one.
And you can tell I overfilled it just a little bit. But, I'm trying to think if I should do it slow or fast. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to push my finger up to kind of create a place. Actually, I think that is called
It's a boat.
Yeah, I just saw this one the other day. That's something, I can't remember what it's called. But anyways, we're not making that. We're making tortelloni. Stick your finger in, wrap it around, and connect the edges.
That's cool. Whoa, what's that supposed to be?
So I call this one tortelloni. I think Tortellini usually means when you have ini at the end of an Italian word, it means something smaller. Like bambini. Okay, so.
It's like a hat.
Yep. Try one more, and then you guys can give it a shot. Keeping everything even. Pinching out the last of the air there. Round part towards your body.
Stick a finger in.
Stick your finger in there, make a hole. Now, this one's actually a little better. The reason why is because you have different layers of pasta here, and what you really want is the boiling water to go through that little hole there. So it'll create a little bit more even cooking, because it'll cook the insides of that, the outsides of this. This one, the insides are not going to be fully cooked. Want to try it?
Sure, I'll try.
Go. Follow the outside. Hey, that looks pretty good.
Okay, and then.
Alright, they both look pretty good.
Yeah.
Mezzaluna.
Alright, so this one facing towards me. Push it in. There.
Yeah, that's good. That's a great start.
Yay!
Show the camera.
Oh.
Nice.
There's not really a little air thing.
These are reverse.
Water. Yeah, mine doesn't really have water.
See it.
I'm sorry. My first one wasn't
Ooh,
very
that
good
one's
either.
pretty.
So this is tortelloni. While you guys were doing that, we call this one Cappalletti. You know what that means?
Nope.
So Cappalletti
It's my
is capelli is hair. You guys have lots of capelli.
Yeah.
Cappalletti refers to the head. So it's like a little,
Airhead.
and especially
Looks
with
like a
the Catholic heritage of Italy, it's like a little
Crown.
bishop's cap. This one's called Raviolo. So I don't really know the reason why it's a raviolo. Usually raviolo means one.
Yeah.
Ravioli, many. This one's a little bigger. The bigger ones get called raviolo. So it's all the same idea. We're just taking 2 pieces of pasta, place it over the top. We don't have to worry about it too much being all lined up, because
We're gonna cut it.
I'm gonna cut it. That's right. Take a little press here.
Ooh, pretty. That's
And
pretty.
so something like this, we would have a mound of probably ragu or something like that, and then we'd have sauce over that, and then some garnishy bits, and that's 1 serving. So an average portion for this would be like six of these sheets. And what we've been doing with this one, actually you guys might have eaten this one. Did you have this one? No, you didn't.
I don't know. I don't think I did.
We've been tossing this with kale pesto, beef bacon, and walnuts. So that's a nice, fun little sheet there.
H2O.
So you can do any size shape of those. Silk hankies. So normally what we do is we would dry this, and you can get a big sheet, lay it out on the counter, and instead of, so think about this as a bigger towel. Don't take your your household sheets. You're gonna need something.
Yeah.
Somebody's not gonna be happy with you if you put flour on top of your bed sheets.
Why is there semolina next to it?
Yeah. So if I were you, I would just get a big. You're not going to be making as much pasta as I do here. Find one clear counter where you can dry pasta. Another counter where you can roll it out. And then if you have sheets that fit this way, you can basically just do the same thing. And then as soon as it's, maybe a half hour, you come back and you feel it. Is it dry? Does it feel dry? We're going to turn it over. This side feels tacky and sticky a little bit. So we're just going to put that back to bed for now. So that's what we normally do. We go through all the sheets that we just rolled out and flip them over. But we're just going to speed up the process so you can see how these get cut. Take off the edges. Well, you know what? If I'm at home, I don't take off the edges. I just eat everything.
So do I.
If we're at work, this is how we would do it. So you can figure out how to make tagliatelle that way. What we do here, since we're making so much more of it, is
Oh, I bet I know.
roll
You're
this
gonna cut
guy.
it and then you'll know it.
Yep, and so it might be a little bit sticky yet to be doing this, but we're going to give it a try anyway. Sharp knife means you're not putting a whole lot of pressure on the pasta itself. You're not pushing it through. It's so sharp, it's just going straight through without any pressure.
Lollipop.
Yeah. We'll get rid of those. Sometimes we save that for staff meal.
Meal with the staff? Meal.
Yeah. It means we get to eat up all the leftovers,
Yum,
and
yum.
all of us, since we work in a restaurant, we don't go home hungry. That's the big rule of thumb. So cool. It's dry enough that we could do that. Usually what I'll do is throw a little bit extra flour on there, just to use semolina at this point too. All right, so 2 sheets. That's probably about 1 pasta for one of you guys.
Yeah.
So you can leave it fresh like this, and then you have 2 or 3 days, or you can put it in the freezer. You can put these in the freezer. Well, they're not very even, are they?
No, but
I think that's kind of how it goes. They're as thick as you want them to be. I would say probably a 1/4 inch would be ideal. I'd say this is more ideal for tagliatelle than this one. And you'll notice that they're a little bit wonky. They're not exactly super duper straight.
that's
And
okay.
I think that's the nice thing about pasta is that
It doesn't have to be perfect.
yeah, absolutely. So let's do one more. Put that on an angle.
That's cool.
So here's another fun Italian thing, is that usually these are the sorts of pieces that you would eat for staff meal. They call that mal tagliati. So tagliati means cut. What do you think mal means?
Bad cut?
Yep, exactly. Poorly cut pasta. And then you just stack these up. There you go. Now you have nice,
cool.
even, mostly the same shape pappardelle. That's probably about it's about the same amount of pastas right here.
Well, they're bigger pieces. So.
Mm-hmm. Rule of thumb for most pastas, the thicker it is, the more chunky the sauce. So I'd probably go with a more chunky ragu with this sort of thing. Probably ragu with this sort of thing too. But if we went really narrow, there's another pasta shape that we do that's called Terran, and it's very, very teeny tiny thin, as thin as you can possibly cut it. And that one I would never put a ragu with. It might just be some garnished bits and brown butter and a very thin sauce.
So like spaghetti, you would do like a chunky meat sauce, or would you do like meatballs with tomato sauce?
Yep. Because those are gonna wrap around the sauce. And I would actually, most of the time when we do spaghetti, we do spaghetti meatballs upstairs too. We toss it with the red sauce to keep the meat off to the side with the with the meatballs, right?
Yeah.
But we wouldn't make a meat sauce when it's serve it with spaghetti. because it's too chunky. You need something like this. You need a penne. That's gonna hold that sauce a lot better.
Tagliatelle, Cappalletti, Tortelloni, Ravioli, Cappalletti, and
Silk handkerchief.
Silk handkerchief. Yay! We're all Italian except this one.
There you go.
This episode was brought to you by Thrive Market and these other wonderful sponsors: Magic Spoon, Fresh Pressed Olive Oil, Wake Up Foods, and Desert Farms.